The tears you shed after crossing the line are no longer for them. They're for the version of you that was too afraid to let go. You've learned that your strength comes from stepping away, not from staying. Your tears were once a sign of how much you cared, but once you cross that line, they become a reminder of how much you've grown. It's time to let go, to move on, and to find peace within yourself. You've crossed that line, and now your tears are not a weakness. They are the cleansing you need to start fresh, to embrace the next chapter in your life without looking back. The moment you realize that your tears can't change the past is the moment you embrace your future. Crossing that line means you're ready to move forward with or without anyone's approval. Your tears once showed your heart's depth, but crossing that line now shows your strength. It's not about what you lost, it's about what you gained, the strength to walk away and rebuild. After crossing that line, your tears no longer hold the power to control you. They simply serve as a reminder of how far you've come and how much stronger you are now. Once you cross that line, the pain begins to heal. Your tears might still fall, but now they wash away the past and make room for a brighter, stronger version of yourself. Tears will no longer tie you to the past once you've crossed that line. They've served their purpose, and now it's time to focus on the future and the person you're becoming. When you cross that line, your tears become a symbol of release, not defeat. They are your soul's way of letting go, making space for something better to enter your life. Your tears once seemed like the only way to cope with the pain, but crossing that line means you now understand that your strength lies in letting go and not in holding on to the past. The line you crossed doesn't make you cold, it makes you wise. You understand that your tears are no longer for the things you can't change. They are for the person you are becoming. Once you've crossed the line, your tears represent strength, not weakness. They acknowledge the hurt, but also affirm that you have the power to move beyond it. Your tears no longer speak of helplessness. They speak of a decision to move forward, no matter how painful it may be. You've crossed that line, and now there's no turning back. There's a clarity that comes once you've crossed that line. Your tears don't hold the weight they once did, because you know that healing comes from action, not just emotion. Your tears may still fall, but now they fall with purpose. Once you've crossed the line, they no longer represent your weakness. They represent the courage to embrace change. Crying after crossing the line is not a sign of weakness, but a sign of growth. You've shed the past and embraced the future, knowing that the tears are part of the healing process. You crossed the line, and now you realize that your tears were never the solution. They were simply a sign that you cared too much for something that wasn't worthy of your love. There's a freedom that comes with crossing that line. Your tears may flow, but they no longer weigh you down. They wash away what no longer serves you, making room for the life you deserve. Your tears no longer hold the same weight after crossing the line. They may still fall, but they are no longer a cry for the past. They are a release for the future. Once you've crossed that line, your tears symbolize a turning point. They are the last remnants of what was, making way for what's about to come. You are stronger than the pain you feel. Tears are temporary, but the strength you gain after crossing the line is permanent. You now know that nothing or no one has the power to break you as they once did. Crying is a natural response, but once you've crossed the line, you realize that tears are only a small part of your story. The real power lies in how you choose to move forward. Your tears no longer serve as a plea for change. They are simply a release of what was never meant to be. You've crossed that line, and now you're free to build something better. Once you've crossed the line, you begin to realize that your tears are part of the past, not the future. The person you are becoming doesn't cry for things that are already gone. Your tears don't change anything now. What matters is that you've crossed the line and chosen to step into a future that's filled with hope, strength, and possibility. Once the line is crossed, tears no longer bind you to the past. They are the catalyst for your healing, a way to release what no longer serves your highest good. There's a point where tears no longer feel like an answer. Crossing that line means you understand that healing is not in the tears, but in the steps you take after them. There comes a moment in life when you realize that your tears don't have the same weight they once did. You've crossed the line of your own self-respect, and now you have to walk away from the things that don't serve you. Healing is about understanding that not everything or everyone deserves a second chance. The tears we shed sometimes blur the clarity of our own hearts, but there's a point where you can't let the tears drown your self-worth anymore. Once you cross that line, the only thing left is the need to stand strong, not for them, but for yourself. It's strange how the tears that once felt like an endless river eventually stop flowing. When you've crossed that line, you realize that no matter how much you cry, it can't change the past. It only sets you free to build a stronger future. Your tears might have been the voice of your heart in the past, but once you've crossed the line of self-betrayal, those tears no longer speak of sorrow. They speak of a lesson learned, a line drawn in the sand, and the courage to never look back. The moment you realize your tears no longer have the power to change anything, is the moment you regain your strength. It's a painful realization, but crossing that line means your future is no longer chained to your past. Tears used to be a way to heal, but now they feel like a reminder of how far you've come and how much you've endured. Crossing that line means you now know the strength in silence and the power of moving forward without regret. You can cry until your eyes run dry, but there's a point when those tears don't matter anymore. What matters is that you crossed the line and learned to never let anyone treat you less than you deserve. Sometimes we hold onto our tears as if they could turn back time. But the moment you've crossed the line, you realize that your tears don't change anything. They only reflect the strength you've gained by walking away. Your tears used to be a symbol of vulnerability, but now they represent something else: strength in letting go. The line you crossed is the one that separates the past from the future, and there's no turning back. After crossing that line, you realize that tears are just a sign of how much you've tolerated, but they don't define your future. What defines you now is how you rebuild and move forward with the lessons learned. The tears may flow, but the line has already been crossed. You've come too far to go back now, and the most powerful thing you can do is continue moving forward, no matter how much it hurts. There's a strange peace that comes after you've crossed that line. It's the kind of peace that says, I've cried enough, and now I'm ready to heal. Your tears don't define you anymore. Your choices do. Your tears can no longer rewrite the past, and crossing that line means accepting that the only thing you can control now is how you move forward from here. No amount of crying will fix the mistakes of others, and that's why crossing that line is necessary. It's not about forgetting. It's about accepting and choosing to never let the pain control you again. At some point, you stop crying because you realize that the tears won't bring you peace. Once you've crossed the line, the only thing that matters is how you choose to rise from the ashes of your pain. When you cross that line, your tears don't hold the same meaning anymore. They're just a reminder of how strong you've become to let go of things that no longer serve you. Your tears may have meant something at one time, but once you've crossed that line, you realize that the real meaning lies in the strength to walk away and embrace what's ahead. Crying used to be a way to release the pain, but now it feels like an echo of a past that no longer matters. Once you've crossed that line, your tears are just part of the process of healing, not a cry for help. It's amazing how much you can change once you stop letting your tears define you. Crossing that line doesn't just change your circumstances, it changes you from the inside out. Your tears can be a sign of vulnerability, but crossing that line means you no longer let vulnerability dictate your path. You are stronger than your emotions, and wiser because of them. Once you've crossed that line, you understand that your tears don't change the situation. They only acknowledge the truth. And the truth is, you deserve more than to be treated this way. Tears flow, but they don't heal unless you learn the lesson. After crossing the line, your tears become the fuel for the fire that will guide you to a brighter future, stronger than ever before. There's a difference between shedding tears and shedding regret. Once you've crossed that line, you realize that regret has no place in your heart, only the courage to move forward.